Almost 2 weeks ago now, on August 4th, GOGOKID sent out a mass email to their teachers telling us that the following day, August 5th, would be our last day of classes. August 5th was my day off, so I taught my last round of classes on the 4th, not knowing that that would be the last time I would see my students. I am optimistic about what the future holds. I really, really am. But this whole situation breaks my heart. It's like the beginning of the pandemic all over again. First, I didn't get to say goodbye to my students in the physical classroom, and now I'm not getting a chance to say goodbye to them in the virtual classroom. This is really, really tough. I had read in both the GOGOKID and VIPKid forums that there had been talks of China coming down hard on these companies for many years now, but so many teachers were saying, don't worry, nothing ever came of it, and that was true until it wasn't. Until now. Sad. China decided to enforce stricter regulations on education, specifically on foreign online tutoring programs for a number of reasons, two of which being that number one, the extra tutoring was placing kids under tremendous amounts of pressure. I mean, seriously, these kids were drowning in homework. They dedicated what was supposed to be their holiday and vacation time to studying, so they were overworked. And while it is sad news for those of us that had been teaching ESL online for many years, it is good news for our students. Number two, the money that parents were spending on supplemental educational resources for their kids was causing them financial stress. These programs raised the cost of living for many families in China, and this is believed to be in direct relation to China's low birth rate. China's birth rate was so low that the country began allowing families to have up to 3 children as opposed to just 2. So yeah, here we are now. Online ESL teachers everywhere are scrambling, trying to figure out what's next, but please do not panic. We have options. Number one, Outschool. I have been teaching on Outschool for about 3 to 4 months now. It is awesome. The cool thing about Outschool is that you create your own curriculum. You can teach whatever you want as long as you have experience in that subject and as long as that subject is secular. Outschool is not an ESL company, but there are some teachers that choose to teach language because they can, because they have experience. I have experience working in a media technology classroom, so I could teach a class on basic film production and basic video editing if I wanted to. So have you been a dancer for several years? Cool, you can teach a dance class. Did you study culinary arts, physical fitness, video game design? You can teach classes on those subjects too. I haven't been as active on Outschool as I'd like to be, but that's mainly because I had dedicated so much of my time to teaching with GOGOKID, and I was really happy doing that. But I've also been successful teaching one Outschool class on Saturdays. I am a certified English teacher and I have experience teaching writing, so I combined English language arts with the Nintendo Switch video game Animal Crossing New Horizons. For those of you that don't know about this fun little game, the gist of it is that you move to an island, you are in charge of running an island, you decorate it, you can go fishing, catch bugs, and do so many other activities. But one of the biggest parts of this game, and where the game gets its name, is that you have animal villagers who also inhabit your island. Each villager has a personality type. Now, there are nearly 400 Animal Crossing villagers, but there are only 8 personality types. So because of these personality types, I figured I could use this game as a way to teach young learners how to write from different perspectives. At the beginning of each class, I have my students spin a wheel of all the villagers who live on their island. The villager that the wheel lands on is the villager that they will interact with. Then they will use that interaction as a prompt to write a journal entry from the perspective of that villager on our class blog site, which I created. At the end of each class, we add any items that we are looking for to our class wish list page, and we help each other's wishes come true by finding different DIY recipes, furniture, and much, much more. My kids are writing and they are having a blast. Quick story, it's relevant, I promise. When I was pregnant with my son, I started playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on the Nintendo DS, and it was fun. I enjoyed it because I was going through a nesting phase at the time, but once I gave birth, I quickly got over it. Then 2020 came around, and during the COVID lockdowns, we, of course, began remote learning. So during my virtual meetings with my students, I found out that they were playing this new Animal Crossing game. So as a teacher, wanting to keep up with pop culture and connect with my students, I purchased this game digitally on my husband's Nintendo Switch just to see what all the fuss was about. and I'm hooked now. A year and a half later, here we are. I own my own Animal Crossing themed Switch. I've got these little Animal Crossing amiibos behind me, and of course, I teach an Animal Crossing based class on Outschool. The lesson here is be inspired by what's around you and use that to teach your classes. Parents are looking for classes that stand out, so if you want to get booked, you really have to keep it interesting. When I applied to teach on Outschool, I passed my interview right away. But prior to applying, I scrolled through YouTube to see if I could find some videos on the application process, and I came across some videos with titles that said things like, I was rejected by Outschool so many times, now what? And all my love to the teachers who shared those videos because they are being honest, open, and vulnerable, and they're trying to help others. But I decided not to click on those videos because I didn't want to get caught up in someone else's experience before giving myself a fair shot. So I told myself, you know what? I am not going to watch those videos. I'm just going to do my thing, teach my heart out. And I did. And I passed the interview on the first try. So I'm going to dig through my hard drive to see if I find the recording of my passing demo, but let's not make a big deal of it. Just be you. Yes. You do have to give thorough and well-written responses to the open-ended questions that you are required to answer, but when it comes to the teaching part, you are the expert. This is your craft. Teach however you want. It's not like VIPKid or GOGOKID where we were all required to teach the same demo lesson and sound the same and use similar TPR. Yes, I know we all have different teaching styles and teaching personalities that showed in the VIPKid and GOGOKID classrooms, but on Outschool you have so much more freedom to show your teaching personality and what you are good at. So again, you are the expert here. You are going to own it. It's going to be awesome. I just submitted my applications to tutor on Cambly, Cambly Kids, and Preply, and since my application is still in review, I will post a video walking you through that process and giving you tips to hopefully help you get hired a little faster. I've rebranded my channel, so I do have a new email. If you have any questions regarding the changes in the online ESL teaching world or about getting hired with Outschool, please email me at homeworkingteacher@gmail.com. Please subscribe to my channel. I will be sharing new adventures and teaching, coaching, and parenting very, very soon. See you next time.